Jordan Talks says, in your opinion, over the last 20 years, who was the most physically gifted athlete at his position to play for the Niners? I say Bryant Young or Vernon Davis. Physically gifted.
Trent Williams.
Yeah, Trent Williams. Although we're getting back half of the career Trent Williams, but Trent Williams is in the conversation. Justin Smith in 2011 was like Hercules. That guy was crazy, man. Then when his tricep popped in 2012, he wasn't quite the same after that. But Vernon Davis, yeah, I mean, he wasn't the most refined, skilled athlete, but when he was young, he ran a 4.3 and was the strongest tight end in the league. So yeah, Bryant Young too. Those are good choices.
I think at the end of the day, I mean, obviously Bryant Young I saw the latter half of his career, but I know like what he meant, and I'm confident in saying that if Bryant Young played for an NFC East team, Bryant Young would already be in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
But that's just how things work. I think if of my lifetime and the people I've seen, it would be Trent Williams, Patrick Willis, and Aldon Smith.
Oh, Patrick Willis, my God.
I think what the reason I also say Aldon Smith is I'm going to have another little shameless plug to Blake and Vish Sports here. But one of the first things we did was we had an interview with Jaquaski Tart, and Tart spent probably 2 weeks with Aldon Smith in that camp because that was the camp they cut Aldon Smith, and that was the year they drafted him in 2016, I think, or 2015. And I asked him who's the best player he's ever seen on a football field, and he said it was Aldon Smith.
I remember when Aldon Smith got cut, Torrey Smith came out and talked. He was kind of the team ambassador at the time. And he's like, this really sucks because Aldon Smith is a Hall of Famer. I mean, he's the best player I've ever played with. I was really looking forward to playing with him. The moves he puts on people, I mean, no one else can do these things, and it sucks. I remember that.
I remember after I did that interview and I asked you, and you said – I remember you told me a story, and obviously I'm going to share the anecdote you told me if you don't mind, but you said that in 2011 when you first started covering the team, you were like, who is this guy with Aldon Smith? And the first one-on-ones, he just takes Joe Staley with his long arms, picks him up and throws him back.
Well, the story was, it was a 3-4 defense, and he was a D-end and a 4-3 D-end. So we were like, what kind of pick is this? He doesn't even fit the scheme. And so early on in practice, it's not competitive portions. It's just like positional drills, and he's with the linebackers trying to learn how to stack and shed. And Paris Harrelson's good at it. Aldon Smith isn't, because Aldon Smith has never done it. And I'm thinking, man, this guy's gonna be a bust. He can't do it. But then when the one-on-ones happen, he gets to go up against Joe Staley. I've never seen Joe Staley panic like that. He couldn't get his hands on Aldon Smith, and Aldon Smith could just pretty much do whatever he wanted with him.
Yeah,
panic. I mean,
in Joe Staley's eyes. He was insane. It's like I don't think. What he was those first 2 years, I don't think people realize how good he was. And I actually think that was it was actually one of the more genius draft picks of the last 15 years at the 49ers. It's right there with George Kittle. It's right there with, Fred Warner and Navarro Bowman, because nobody thought the 49ers would take Aldon Smith, and nobody thought in that draft that Aldon Smith would have been one of the 7 first players drafted in that draft. And
they think they're going to take Robert Quinn?
Robert Quinn was in that conversation. Blaine Gabbert was in that conversation. Prince Amukamara was in that conversation.
That's right.
But Prince people looked at Aldon. First of all, people didn't think Aldon Smith could be a 3-4 outside linebacker. They looked at him as a DN who has the versatility to kick inside.
Right, which is what he did.
That's what he did at Mizzou. But for the Niners to draft him and be that right in a defensive draft that had Cam Jordan and J.J. Watt and, Von Miller and all of that, and for him to look like the best player, obviously it's sad what happened to his career because of other things, but he was clearly the best player from that class, I would say, after their first 2 years in the NFL. I mean, Marcel Darius was really good. Patrick Peterson was obviously special, and for them to draft Aldon Smith like that, I think that's incredible.
Young Kaepernick was also extremely physically gifted. Yeah. Extremely physically gifted. And one person I'm not going to put in this list, I'm going to make a distinction. Nick Bosa. He's more like a testament to hard work in the weight room than just natural gifts. I mean, he clearly has been training since he was very little. I think that's kind of the difference. Skill and hard work.
So I think that obviously I think skill and hard work is the distinction between him and Aldon Smith or him and Vernon Davis. Obviously, he's still an elite level athlete and has special physical gifts, but I 100% agree with that. I just don't think he's as special raw physically than Aldon Smith. But I don't think Aldon Smith ever got to a point in his career where he was as technically refined as Nick Bosa.
No, but Aldon Smith had super long arms that Nick Bosa doesn't have, and they were useful.
Insane agility.
Insane agility.
Incredible
Yeah.
first step.
Yes.
Incredibly explosive. He would sack the quarterback just – I mean, I remember – do you remember the Steelers game where rookie Aldon Smith – I mean, Max Starks was a respected tackle in the NFL for years, and rookie Aldon Smith was picking him up and throwing him into Ben Roethlisberger?
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Yeah, and people kind of don't know. It was 10 years ago, and people's – the narrative is, well, it was all Justin Smith. He created Aldon Smith. Maybe partially as a rookie helped him get going, but Aldon Smith was unblockable his second year in the league.
People say that only because Justin Smith tore his triceps in the end of 12 and Aldon Smith's production went down. But Aldon Smith was also playing with a torn labrum that just didn't get as much
True.
I don't know, it didn't get talked about or publicity. Yeah. But yeah, Aldon Smith was playing with the torn labrum. I don't think we've ever seen a player, to me, on the 49ers. Like, I would say maybe Patrick Willis is the only one that's close. But I don't even think Fred Warner is the level of that Aldon Smith was. Even Nick Bosa's rookie season, to me, it didn't even compare. I mean, Aldon Smith had 14 sacks playing half the snaps. Yeah. And, like, Bosa was racking up pressures and he was technically refined. Aldon Smith would just step on the field, throw the tackle aside, and just get a sack. It was just so easy for him to sack the quarterback.